Two.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Canadian Texas Longhorn Show here at Exhibition 2024. We're about to get underway with our program. We've imported a very prestigious judge from northeast Texas, and we're going to get Deb Lessick. Deb's a longtime member of the Canadian Longhorn Association. She's going to introduce this judge to us right now.
Thank you. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to the show. Certainly, it's a pleasure to be able to welcome our judge today, who is Keith DuBose, Jr. from St. Augustine, Texas. He and his wife, Tina, made the trip up here yesterday. I would like Tina also to stand up in the crowd so we can recognize her as well. She's over here. Lovely lady. So Keith, we asked him for a bio, and of course, I'm sure Tina wrote this, but anyway, it says, I've been married to Tina for 44 years. We have 3 beautiful daughters, Rebecca, Jessica, and Sydney, all whom have owned and shown Longhorns. The grandkids are the 5th generation of the DuBose to own and show registered Longhorn cattle. Keith has been in the Longhorn business with wife Tina and family for over 52 years. He was a ranch manager, and now he's the owner of the DuBose Bardee Ranch. The DuBose Bardee Ranch started raising registered Longhorns in the early 1970s. A majority of the first registered herd was built around the Butler family of cattle. We got to meet and learn from some of the early pioneers, the old-time breeders like J.W. Isaac, J.D. Jack Phillips, Johnny Hoffman, and they were instrumental in helping teach what to look for and why it was important. Keith's family still is active in raising and showing Longhorn cattle. Keith has judged numerous shows over the last 42 years for Arklatex, a Longhorn affiliate, East Texas Longhorn affiliate, Dixie Texas Longhorn affiliate, Gulf Coast Texas Longhorn affiliate, West Texas, Texas Longhorn affiliate, and South Texas Longhorn affiliates. He's judged at the New Mexico State Fair, he's judged at the Colorado State Fair, the Louisiana State Fair, the South Texas State Fair, and the World Show for the trophy steers, and many, many futurities. He was previously the chairman of the TLBAA board from 2019 to 2023. He's been region director for Region B, and he is now the TLBAA National At-Large Director. He's a director for Arklatex Longhorns. He's a lifetime member. He's past president and lifetime member of the East Texas Longhorn Breeders Association, and he served consecutively on the Ethics and Conduct Committee for the TLBAA multiple terms. I've had the privilege to work with him as a director for the TLBAA, and has become he and Tina have been very good to me. They introduced me, for those of you that know anything about the States, they introduced me to Buc-ee's. So I am a Buc-ee's supporter. And for any of you that haven't been in the States and haven't had the privilege to go to Buc-ee's, make it something you do on your bucket list. Anyway, welcome to our judge, and have a good show. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you, Deb. Is this Buc-ee's? Is it legal? Oh, it's okay. Okay, good. All right, good. I was a little concerned about that. Anyways, we're about to get underway here, folks, and we're very excited that our Judge DuBose is now going to add Canada on his list of accomplishments. So that'll be interesting going forward. Okay, we're going to get underway. Our first class is the Heifer calves, born January 1 to June 30th of this year, 24. There's 10 heifers entered in this class. All right, here we go, folks. Here's our 10 heifers. Thank you for being here, folks. We know the weather outside is not very delightful. So it was a long drive from Alberta here the other day. One I'm not going to forget for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are considering or interested in getting into the Longhorn cattle industry, there's a few things that you should consider, and they are to talk to many different breeders. There's a whole variety of options in these cattle that you can go. You can go with color, you can go with horn, you can go with carcass conformation, carcass traits. There's all kinds of different things you can, depends on what you want to do with them in the end, I guess, folks. So talk to all kinds of different breeders that you can come up with, and come up with your own plan, your own idea on what you want to do, and it'll work for you. Stick with it, whatever that plan is, stick with it, and it will work for you eventually. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay, folks, we have a new breeder here with us this year. Speaking of people getting interested in it, and it was George Evans. Georgie Evans from Lumsden, Saskatchewan, so not too far away. Yep. So we always welcome new breeders and old breeders and all kinds of breeders. Folks, we've got a couple of young ladies that are going around with beef brochures with a pin on it. If you didn't get one, hold your hand up and we'll send one of these girls to See ya. Oh, over there, young lady in the corner. We have some announcements here on behalf of Canadian Western Agribition. Right at the top of the list, folks, is the Party on the Dirt. This is a rodeo party, and it is in the back of the rodeo. Enjoy Paralyzers line dancing on dirt this Friday and Saturday. This is a sellout event. Get your tickets early at agribition.com. There you go. Party on the dirt. We have exhibitors here from 3 different provinces: Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba this year. Folks, we have drawn from British Columbia and Ontario, but not this year. It's which is a good thing. The weather isn't all that good for that kind of a travel, but yeah, it's always good to have a good variety of cattle and exhibitors.
Okay. First off, I want to thank these group of Canadian breeders inviting me up here to come sort stock for them. Hope that, you know, I like looking at the cattle, especially whenever you have cattle that are more, I hate to use the term rough because it's not rough, but more in their natural state of what this breed really should be. You know, you know, you see them where they have their natural hair. That's what makes them the hardy group of animals that they can go anywhere they want. I've been looking at these cattle my whole life, and I really I appreciate being invited up here. Okay, we're going to start this class off with entry number 3027. That's this big, stout, black and white heifer here. What I really looked at it the way is, first thing I do when I look at these cattle, I look at them and see how they take their first 2 or 3 steps. And I like to see that rear foot step into the front foot track. I know that they can move out very fluidly. You watch her as she graceful and walks out. I like the way she is, got a good, stout, strong top line on her, good hip. You start looking at her where she's starting to develop with her spring of rib coming out on her. She's really good. I'm a stickler for Longhorn cattle, conformation. I like what they call the old fish hook tail, and that's because you see the tail, for those that don't know, you see how the tail on that animal right here comes up and does that. It's a fish hook, and that's just part of it. It helps with the breeding. It helps with just the way they work, and it's just something that's been one of the characteristics that have carried through this breed for a long time. Then you reach up to her. She's got a good, strong, she's feminine through her shoulders and everything, comes up onto her neck. If I had to fault her for anything, she's got a little bit of extra flesh right up under her throat, kit lash. But other than that, good horns, good, you know, just really a good cow. Now she's fitting for this first place. Second place goes to 3033. That's this red and white heifer here. Like I said, you know, she got a really good flashy color. She's very correct. I like watching them when she walks. She stands good and square on her hind legs. I like the way she's put together on her hip, good strong top line. She has a long feminine neck on her, and that's, you know, what I look forward in them. She's very clean. If anything, it's just like, of course, it's winter time. Anything that you'd want to do to change any of these like this is if you have to worry about the groceries and the feeding of them. Fourth place goes to, third place. Third place is 3032. That's this big white heifer here. I've looked at her. She's got a lot of good heavy bone on her. I really like the way she looks out. She's just a little bit, you know, I like the way she slopes in. I'd like to see her a little bit thicker and broader through the shoulders and through the front end. But she's a very nice young heifer. She's got good deep body on her, and I mean, she just out of this had to be the third place today. Fourth place, that one 3025. It's a big, stout, powerful heifer. You look at her, she fits in the same category as all the others. She's got a good top line to her, good crest, good tail head. Deep in the body, good lot of bone structure. If anything on her, I'd like to see her stretch her neck out just a tad. She's a little short on her neck, but other than that, these are all a really nice group of heifers. Fifth place, 3034. That's this little heifer right here. She's, you know, if anything on her, she's one of the younger heifers in this class, so she gives up a little bit on age. But I like the way she's feminine. She stands a little bit sickled in on her back legs where their hocks kind of tilt in a little when she stops, pretty regular. But she just gives up a little bit. I'd like to see her be as a little bit cleaner down through her neck area, down through her throat. But she's still a nice heifer. sixth place, 3029. Okay, 3029. She's another one of the younger heifers in there. I'd like to see her a little bit changed up a little bit. She's got a good hip, good top line. She's got a little bit of a sway right in here on her back, right in front of her tail head. But you look at her, I'd like to lengthen her neck out just a little bit, but it's part of being, she's still got a long ways to go and a way to grow. And 6 months down the road, it'll be a whole different look in what you see in her. Number 7 is 3028. Oh, that's this red heifer right here. Like I said, she, all these heifers, like I said, she's a April heifer. She's like in the middle of the class. I'd like to see her a little bit longer in the neck. I'd like to clean her up a little bit coming under the neck and throat latch, but a lot of that can fill up as she starts to mature and grow. They can fill into that. I'd like to change her tail head just a tad, but that could all, like I said, that can happen as they grow and mature. 28. Number 3030. This red heifer over here. Like I said, she's a nice little straight little heifer. Like I said, I'd like to kind of pick her up a little bit in the top line as she comes off the crest of her shoulders. The way she stands, it's just got kind of a little bit. I'd like to see her being a little bit slow, a little bit better strength up in that top line. She gives off a little bit in height difference, but that's because of where she falls in the age group. Like to lengthen her out a little bit. She stands with her back legs hocked in just a tad, but that's just like, it's like a teenager. You're dealing with a teenager. As they grow, they change, and they make a whole lot of difference. Number 9 is 26. That's this little red heifer right here. Like I said, she's a nice heifer. I'd like to see her a little bit longer through her neck. I'd like to see her a little bit longer, getting up. She's got a little bit more navel than I preferably like myself. I'd like to see them a little bit cleaner, underneath. But, it's not taking anything away from the heifer. It's just today, this is where she's at. Number 10 is this number 24 heifer. Like I said, she's just a little bit more coarse. She's the youngest, one of the youngest in the class. I'd like to see her a little bit thicker as she comes off the top of her back, and where she hits into her shoulders, she's just kind of a little bit more pinched than I like seeing. Plus, her tail head is a little bit coarse, but other than that, she just got some growing to do, and that's the biggest thing with most of these heifers. They just have to grow. Thank you.
All right, we have the results for the first class, ladies and gentlemen. Heifer calves born January 1 to June 30th of 2024. Okay, first place, the winner of the class is 3027. Texas Pearl, and she's owned by Cody Robbins from Delisle, Saskatchewan. All right, second place is 3033, KL Smoke Show 400, and it's owned by Cott Livestock from Coronach, Saskatchewan. Third place is KL Miss Flair 30-32, and she is owned by Caught Livestock also from Cornac. And fourth place is Queen of Spades, and that's Lone Rider Longhorns from Athabasca, Alberta. Fifth place is Midnight Shadow, and that's a Caught Livestock heifer from Cornac, Saskatchewan. Sixth place is Welcome to New York, and that's Cody Robbins. And then in seventh place is Follow Her Arrow, and that's a Cody Robbins heifer also. Eighth place is Mabel of Brutality. Ooh, that's quite a handle. The owner's name is Rick Lalonde from Craven, Saskatchewan. Okay, my apologies. The owner of this heifer is Georgie Evans. All right, it's ninth place is One Tree Scarlet 458. One Tree Ranching from Patricia, Alberta. And in 10th place is Prairie Way, also, and it's DAS Prairie Way, owned by DS Cattle Company from Carmen, Manitoba. Carmen, Manitoba. Okay. We're on to the next class. This is non-haltered heifers born January 1st to 30th, 2023. April 30th. So this is yearling heifers, guys. This is the good ones. And these are January to April born. Oh, okay. This also was part of our Futurity. First class for the Futurity. So there you go, folks. We'll keep you up as we go along here. A little bit of history on the Longhorn cattle here. They first arrived from South America, to South America from Spain in 1493. That was a long time ago. Then they went north into North America in 1521. After their arrival in North America, these cattle mingled with lots of escaped cattle and developed their own breed, developing traits, hardiness, disease resistance, longevity, fertility, and survival skills. In the early 1800s, when they were introduced what is now Canada, Northwest Territories, and Yukon as a source of food for miners, prospectors, and early settlers. So they've been in Canada for many years. They almost met their demise then in the late 1800s as a result of fencing and other breeds coming into North America. In 1927, the U.S. government allotted $3,000 to acquire a herd of these old-time Longhorns. All right, so the American government, the U.S. government, was the ones responsible for saving the herd. Through the years, the interest has increased in the Longhorn cattle. 1964, the Texas Longhorn Breeders Association of America was organized. All right. The main characteristics for Longhorn cattle today that we know, first of all, beef, calving ease for crossbreeding programs, fertility, disease resistance, and longevity. So that is the that's the main traits, reasons for owning Longhorn cattle today. If you have not tried Texas Longhorn beef, you received a little brochure. Come on by the Longhorn exhibit out in the barn later on, and we'll find a way for you to test Longhorn beef. I know you're going to love it. So.
Okay, this is a little bit more interesting class. You sit here and you notice these are 6 to 8 months older than the class that was ahead of them. You start seeing where they mature out. You start seeing them filling out, getting up off the ground, getting just some muscle to them, just different, as they go through and they shape up. Really a nice set of heifers. I'm going to give first place is going to go to number 3036. That's this long-bodied red and white heifer here. If you look at her, she's got a lot where she comes off of her hip. She comes back. She's got a lot of good feminine, strong muscling going down her back side of her hip down to her legs. She's very long-bodied, very clean up underneath in her belly. It really just, to me, she just caught my eye when she come in the ring. I like the way she's put together. And she does have a nice set of horns to her. Just pretty correct heifer. And I'm going to follow her with 3037, which is this black and white heifer. If you look at her, she's got a good strong top line on her. You come off there, you roll into her hip, good hooks to pin. You start looking at this. For those that don't know, that's that wide bone on the cow is her hook bone, and the pin bone is where it hooks to the side of the ball joint of the leg. That's what you look at that. It's very important having one that has a good, about a 15-degree slope coming off of that hooks to the pin, because that helps with ease and calving and everything. You look how deep she is coming into the body. Like the first heifer, she comes in from up under her chest. She stays pretty full all the way back out. And you start seeing that they're starting to get a little bit of an udder starting to show up under the back of them. And you say, well, okay, but that's part of the factor is it's starting out. Third place, I'm going with 3038, which is the kind of motley colored, white, blue colored heifer. Just really a nice heifer. I'd like to see her with a little bit more neck to her for me. But that's not taking anything away from her. You look at the way she comes off of her hip. Tail head is really good. She's got a good straight line coming down her muscling onto her, back off her hip stifles. They're good, the good hook to pin. She's got it. Good straight line on her top back. Really a nice heifer. And I'm going to follow them with the solid black heifer, number 3035. She stands a little odd sometimes. As I was watching her, she'll stand with her legs kind of moved up under her just a little bit on her rear legs. instead of standing straight and square, she stands a little bit. You see her, and then I don't know whether if it's could be an injury, it could be just. But I kept watching her. I'd walk around, and I would have moved her up at least one spot. But you know, she stands kind of awkward on her back two legs. But really, a really nice set of heifers. Thank you.
Okay, we have the results of this class, ladies and gentlemen. In first place is Miss Miracle, owned by DS Cattle Company from Carmen, Manitoba. Second place is Dazzle Girl, and that's a Cody Robbins from Delisle, Saskatchewan. And third place is Makes Me Blush. That's also a Cody Robbins heifer, Delisle, Saskatchewan. Fourth place is Hooblade. All right, and that's all is owned by DS Cattle Company from Carmen, Manitoba. Okay. Okay, this is a second class for the Futurity. This is heifers born May 1st to December 31st of 2023. And we have
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
we have 7 in this class, folks. Considering Canadian Texas Longhorn cattle, reasons: lean meat, produce natural lean fat, low cholesterol, and it's for your healthy, conscious public, and the rest of us also. So there you go. Longevity: Texas Longhorn will live and breed within their teens. More live calves over the years means more dollars for less effort. Okay, these cows will feed on a variety of forage, some good, some not so good. It doesn't matter, they still charge ahead. Okay, a natural immunity developed over the centuries means fewer veterinary bills and less maintenance for today's cow, man. That's a good reason right there. All right, reproductive efficiency. Large pelvic opening and low birth weights result in live calves, folks. Always live calves. All right. Busy cattlemen can say goodbye to sleepless nights. Docile, we've seen these cattle in this show ring running and playing around here, but they're always pretty careful of our judge, so far anyways. All right. But he's been to a lot of shows, seen a lot of different cattle. Something else I got here, folks. Commercial bulls, Texas Longhorn bulls, are the bulls of choice for first calf heifers. The commercial cattleman knows that the low birth weight of the calves puts less stress on the mother, also gives him a live calf to sell in the market for the first time out of that heifer. So there you go, folks. Commercial females. Many cattlemen utilize the inherent genetics of the Texas Longhorn female with their breed of bull to produce live, vigorous, profitable calves for the market. So there you go. We've seen a number of stories, and we can tell you stories all day long about people with crossing Longhorn cattle with other breeds and all the benefits, efficiencies. Again, folks, you want to learn. There's all kinds of wisdom at the exhibit, at the Longhorn exhibit out in the barns. Don't hesitate. Come out back when we're following this show, and we can we'll get you lined up with the right person to talk to.
While he's judging this second class of the heifers, I want to tell you a little bit about the Legends Yearling Heifer Jackpot that we have. It's named in remembrance of 4 of our members that we have lost, and so it's the banner is over here in the corner. And each year we sponsor 2 banners and also a buckle to the overall yearling heifer that comes from the 2 classes.
Thank you, Deb. We have the results.
Okay. Now this is going up about another 6 months in age from the previous class, and you start seeing a little more maturity, a little bit deeper body, a little more muscling, a little bit more just as they mature. It changes them up. I'm going to start this class off. There's a heifer that caught my eye when she comes in here. She's number 3041, and like I said, this heifer right here, she's kind of a muckledy dun gray roan. If you look at her, first off, you know, she's got a color on her that'll catch your eye anywhere she goes. It's really a unique color. But when you start looking at her, you look across her top line, she's got a good solid top line. It comes off and feeds into good right there above her hook bones into her tail head. And you look at her, she's got a really deep body on her. She's barreled out is a term that I like to use. She's like a big barrel body on her. She just carries almost the same depth from the front up under her chest into her flank. When she stands straight, her legs are good and solid up under her. When she strides out, she steps almost in her perfect front step, which I like seeing that because that means they can track and they can go and they can graze and get across the pasture. When she stops, and if you look, she's got a really good muscling coming down off her hip into her to her hocks back there, just really, and then you come up and finish it up with a nice feminine neck and a nice respectable set of horns. Very fitting to me to be in the first in this class. Second place is that little long-bodied red heifer right here, 3042. She's second place. You look at her, she's very feminine. She's very deep coming through her body. She comes in through, she's got good muscling coming off her hip, good spring of rib, tail head. I mean, she's a pretty complete package on her little heifer. Like I said, she gives up a little bit in height to the other one, but they're both have a whole lot of similarities in the way they're put together. A very good calf for our second place. Followed closely by the black and white heifer over against the fence, 3039. She's a 23 June of 23 heifer. You look at her, she's got a little bit of height to her. She's got good up. She's very deep coming through the body, like the way she rolls off the hip. Like to see her maybe a little bit more muscling to her, but other than that, she's a very good heifer. Fourth place, 3045. Okay, it's the other long-bodied red heifer. If you look at her, I'd like to see her being a little bit more where she flattens out a little bit coming here on top of her top line. And because when she stands, she kind of slouches, which is what I say. As they're their age, they're like a teenager. They'll just kind of stand, kind of slumped out. But really a good heifer, when she moves out, she tracks out well. She's very feminine, good neck, just really a good, nice heifer. Gives up a little in muscling to the ones ahead of her on her hip, but still a good heifer. Fifth place goes to 3040, which is this. No, where'd it go? This heifer right here. This heifer, I looked at her and looked at her. If you watch the way she walks, she's got a lot of dip into her top line there. The way she stands, she kind of drops a little bit. I'd like to see her be a little bit stronger in that top line. Another thing is she's carrying a lot of weight, and you look at the way their crest is coming up, where her shoulders come up on top of her back. You know, they like to say back in the old day, they'd put them up there where your shoulder blades come up and almost touch. The more width you get into them like that, it starts making them a little bit wider when they walk, and it makes them where it just doesn't carry the weight of an animal. She is carrying a lot of weight. If you look across her back, she's very flat and wide, you know, as it goes in. But I'm not taking a lot away from her. I mean, they're good. They're good heifers, but right now she would be our fifth place heifer. Sixth place, 3043, which is this red and white speckled heifer. She's long as a freight train. I got to give her that. I'd like to see her with a little bit more muscle in her hip, but she's deep in the body. Little bit, I would change a little bit on her tail head because it comes off of that top of that hip and it rolls down, and I'll explain that in a minute on what concerns me about tail heads. I'd like to see her being a little bit, you know, more smoother up in her shoulders and stuff, but she's still a good heifer. And seventh place heifer is the big, deep-bodied 44 heifer. She's just, I looked at her and she's got a lot of muscle, a lot of hip to her and everything. To me, I'd like to see her cleaned up around her neck a little bit. I'd like to see extending her neck out just a little. She's getting groceries, almost that I think it'd be close to being almost over condition. you know, to me. And I mean, that's, but like I said, I'd like to see, and she's, you know, whenever we were taught coming up, you know, you want a flat pole, which is that space between the horns, you know, that comes in, and hers is a little bit narrow. You know, they want a wide, flat pole. That's part of the characteristics for the cattle. And so where she kind of punches up, you know, and it just kind of concerns me. But she's still a good cow, and she raised some heck of a good calves because she's heavy. Thank you.
From these two classes, right?
Okay, folks. The first two from this class will be then judged against the first and second from the previous class, and we'll go from there. Okay, we have the results from this class, folks. They will go up against the results of the previous class, and in first place is Like a Dove, and that's a Cody Robbins heifer. Second place is She's a Dime, and that's a Cody Robbins heifer also. Third place is Dancing Clementine, and that's a Double D Arena from Outlook, Saskatchewan. Fourth place, Candy Apple. That's Lone Rider Longhorns from Athabasca. Fifth place, Esmeralda Jose, and it's a Double D Arena. And in sixth place, Miss Rodeo Time. That's a Caught Livestock heifer, Cornac, Saskatchewan. Seventh place is Patricia 312. And that's a Caught Livestock heifer also. Okay, so we're into the final class. The winner of this will be the overall winner of the heifers. We will present the awards for this class right now when these heifers are still in here. And then we're going to water down the arena. Kind of looking forward to that. Yeah, come on down, folks, after the show here this afternoon. Come on down to the barns for a visit. We'll be there all day tomorrow. And then folks will start leaving either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning, right? Yeah, so come on down, have a visit. We'll talk a little Longhorn with you. And hopefully we can make some sense about all of this. All right. Oh, here we go. Yep, it is what it is. You betcha. Okay, folks, we have the results.
Let's go backwards. Okay, so fourth place for the Futurity.
All right, fourth place for the Futurity is Razzle Dazzle Girl. That's a Cody Robbins heifer. Third place is Miss Miracle, and that's a DS Cattle Company from Carmen, Manitoba. Second place is She's a Dime, and that's a Cody Robbins heifer. And in first place, the winner of the 2024 Legends Futurity will be Like a Dove, and that's a Cody Robbins heifer from Delisle, Saskatchewan. Congratulations, Cody. Can you please come into the ring, please? It's what? Oh. Yep. There you go. Okay, folks, while we're watering down the arena and going to get the smog out of here, I got a little short story to read you. And this is, this is a settling a cow case, okay? And this is a big city lawyer was representing the railroad in a lawsuit filed by the old rancher. The rancher's prize bull was missing from a section through which the railroad passed. The rancher only wanted to be paid for the fair value of his bull. The case was scheduled to be tried before the Justice of Peace in the back room of a general store. The attorney for the railroad immediately cornered the rancher and tried to get him to settle out of court. The lawyer did his best selling job, and finally the rancher agreed to take half of what he was asking. After the rancher had signed the release and took the check, the young lawyer couldn't resist gloating a little over his success, telling the rancher, "You know, I hate to tell you this, old man, but I've put one over on you in there. I couldn't have won the case. The engineer was sleeping and the fireman was in the caboose when the train went through your ranch that morning. I didn't have one witness to put to the stand. I bluffed you." The old rancher replied, "Well, I'll tell you, young feller, I was a little worried about winning the case myself because that darn old bull came home this morning." All right. Why Texas Longhorn cattle? 99.7% unassisted births. That's pretty near all of them, let me tell you. Longevity, calving into their 20s. Maternal instincts. All right. Early sexual maturity. These heifers start breeding young and early. Disease resistant. High fertility in the bulls and the cows. Low management requirements. All right. Addresses today's dietary concerns, low fat and cholesterol without sacrificing flavor or tenderness in the beef. All right. And the Texas Longhorn cattle are a strong genetic package. All right. They can improve your potential in any cattle breed with registered Texas Longhorn genetic packages is inherent. All right. The survivors of the past are certainly the breed of the future.
Okay, so the next class here is non-healthy females born 2022. Class 4.
All right, class number 4, folks. These are females born 2022. So we have 6 in this class, folks. Six entries. So that makes these 2-year-old heifers. 6 in this class, folks. And Daryl, you did not have to take one boot off. We're good. 6 head, yep. Daryl, he was afraid. Daryl Swark, ladies and gentlemen, from Carmen, Manitoba, is our ring director here today. And thank you very much. He's doing a fabulous job. And he hasn't got run over once yet, but the day's not over. How the Texas Longhorn breed came to be in this country was after following the American Civil War, they started chasing cattle up here. I think there was 300,000 head come from Texas to Western Canada in a very short period of time. And they chased them up here because they would gain weight all the way. And it didn't matter where they started at in Texas. There was a lot more beef when they got to Alberta or Saskatchewan or British Columbia or we're all across the West. So that's why they chased them up here, and then from there, they sent them to mining camps, logging camps, fur trading camps, all kinds of places to feed the people. And yeah, it was just the way it was, and it worked out great for the consumers. They also shipped them back down to Chicago, and then also in 1885 they shipped 2,000 head, I believe it was, from Calgary to London, England, for slaughter, and they made. I think they got paid as I recall the story, they got $18 a head. Delivered in their pocket, net, and going to Chicago, they got something like $12 a head. So they went to London, England, made some big, serious dollars. Lots of history on Texas Longhorn cattle in this country. It's always enjoyable to read stories about them and learn how they've evolved over the years.
Okay, this, as you see, these are getting to be a little bit older looking mamas out here. You start seeing them, they're 2-year-old. Most of them should be bred or being exposed. You just, what you kind of hope for. Usually we'd always turn ours out coming in at 18 to 24 months to be turned out with a bull. That way they'd calve out after they shed their teeth and this, that, and the other. Really some interesting cattle in here. If you look at them, there's all different types of genotypes in them where you start looking. Some of them are, a little bit more muscular. Some of them are just different horn shape, different everything. Just really a pretty good deal on looking at them. For my first place is this little Parker Brown, black, spotted heifer. If you look at her, she's long. She's got a real long body from her shoulder to her hip. She's got a good, from hook to pin, she's got the good slope to it. Good tail head with what I like to see with a good fish hook tail. And while I'm on the fish hook tail, I'll tell you what we like to look for with that tail. If you'll notice, you'll see as it comes off the spine, there's a bump here and another bump. What this is, it helps twice ways. It's just as important as it is this 15-degree slope from hook to pin bone here in calving and breeding and everything. That way, if you look where this works like a door hinge. And if you got where it's coming up here and all of a sudden it hits this knot here, well, from here to here, this tail will lift, which means easy calving. And you'll be really surprised that about 65 to 70% of these cows will have a calf standing up. And it's because of that slope on that hook to pin and looking for this crest of a fish hook tail. And the old timers, that's what they always said. This is what we want to look for in it, is that fish hook tail. And it's because it does lift out of the way for calving it'll move up whenever she's standing in heat, ready to be bred. It helps, but it really helps with calving ease, and that way, like Mr. Gordy said, you don't have to stay up at night waiting on them to have a calf, because they're going to have it whether you want it or not. And usually it's like if you go out through the woods, well, I don't know how much wood y'all got, but where we live, it's got lots of woods. You start looking, and then when you having calving season, you go out there and you go, well, I saw her yesterday. She didn't have a calf. But then you start finding all these babies, and it's like looking for Easter. You're going, look at this, it's like Easter eggs. You go out here, there's all kinds of color to calves and all different things, and they're there. The good thing about it is, with the fish hook and the slope of the hook's a pin, that I've always been told is, with the calving ease, your calf doesn't come here in a stress, that your calf comes here, and like if you raise Bramer, or we raised along with our Longhorn herd, we had the polled Aberdeen Red Angus and all this stuff, and the calves get there, and the cows stress and stress and stress. The Longhorns, within an hour, 2 hours after calving, it's not uncommon for that baby to be traveling. That is how they survived. They'll get up and they'll nurse within the first 30 minutes, really, on an average, unless certain weather conditions, cold or whatever. But they'll get up, mama goes to clean them, and then they'll be standing up. Next thing you know, they're nursing. That is why that's one of the special traits about this breed. And that is the importance that I've always been taught about a fish hook tail and the way it is, and the importance of hook to pin. A lot of people have started looking and they don't pay attention. A lot of your European breeds, you'll see, just like with this cow, since she's a good example, she'll probably kick me now. You'll see a lot of your European breeds, like your Angus and different things like that. From here to here is that bone, that hook to pin direction. Also, you notice with them big-headed calves, you're going to be pulling calves. You know, you go check your cows in the pasture, you grab your calf pullers, because that's what's going to happen. With a Longhorn, with this, you can breed her to an Angus bull, to a Charolais bull, Brangus, whatever, and you won't hardly have a chance of, by crossbreeding, of having to pull a calf. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but very, very seldom. So that's our first place calf. Second place is number 3046. She's the oldest cow in this class. Come on, baby, move. But you can look at her. She's got a lot of height. You can tell she's coming just directly out of the pasture. But she's got a good top line to her. Good, comes off the crest of the hip here to her hook bones. Hook to pins is good. Tail is good. And like I said, I like it because she's got a real long tail, and that was something that I've been told too, is that long tail, it's really good for the cow because it helps them keep flies and everything else off of them. Good set of horns, good feminine neck to her. She's very worthy of being second. Third place, follow her with this red cow here. I really like the way she has the way her horns come off her head, but if you look, it goes back, but she's got a good pole on it. What I was talking about before, the flat shape on it. She's good, strong in her top line, good hooks to pins. She's just really a good mama cow. She's got a bag started in there pretty good, so, I mean, she's doing exactly what she should be doing at this age. Fourth place is this red and white cow right here, number 3047. She gives up a little bit in height to the other three ahead of her, but she's a real long, good. I'd like to see her with a little bit more clean, being a little more clean. Well, up under her navel, she's got a little bit of navel. You start looking, but there's not a lot. But I'd like to see her with a little bit more bag development. Let's see, number 5 is the 50. That's the big white speckled cow over in the corner. She catches your eye and stuff, but I'd like to clean her up a little bit coming over her tail head. If you'll look, it comes up and then it streaks all the way back, down her tail. I'd like to have a little bit different in that. But other than that, she's still a good heifer. I'd like to see her have a little bit more bag showing up on her udders. She's not, you're not seeing a lot of it, in which you should have a more visible on it at this time. Number 6 is number 3049. This black and white heifer here, you start looking, I'd like to change the tail head set on her a little bit. She's a little coarse up through her shoulders. I'd like to lengthen her neck out a little bit, and she, I'd just like to change her just a little bit in her way she's put together. Thank you.
Okay, that's the results. Class number 4. In first place will be, all right, Dancing in the Wind, Double D Arena. Second place is Moneyline, and that's a Daryl Swark heifer from Carmen, Manitoba. And third place is Fancy Blade, Caught Livestock, Cornock, Saskatchewan. Fourth place will be Bunny's Legend, Bunny's Legacy, and that's a Double D Arena heifer. Fifth place is Spring Fling, and that's a Lone Rider Longhorns from Athabasca. Sixth place, Black Opal. All right, that's also a Lone Rider heifer. So that's the results of class number 4. Okay, we have 2 more classes of females here, folks. The haltered class, or non-haltered, born 2021. And then the final class is females born 2019 or before. And then we will bring all the classes back in for a final tally on what we have. Okay, our class is the class number 5. We have 2 entries in this class. Lucky not no more. Daryl would be busier than he already is. Okay. These girls are happy to be loose. Yep.
Okay, what was the number on that one? Okay, these are females born in 2021. We're going to start the class off with a 30-53 heifer, the big flat horn cow. This one, if she'll stay over there. If you really look at her, I mean, she's put together right. I like the way she looks across her top line. She's got a good hip to her, a lot of good muscling. You look straight down her flank back there. She's got a bag starting up on her in there. Just really a nice cow. We were having a question. She's got a dark mark, which is a dark color mark on her horn. And I was looking to make sure that it wasn't a crack or something from a damage, because even though it doesn't hurt the cow, it does in a show. You have to look at things like that. But very fitting cow to be. I love the way she's clean up through the bottom. She's very deep in the body, and long as a well rope. I mean, she's just really a nice cow. Following her closely with the 30-54 heifer. She's got the old speckly longhorn face, long faced, everything. She gives up a light. I'd like to see her a little bit longer in the neck. I'd like to see a little bit changed up, a little bit more coming in. She's a little bit high crested going into her tail head, which a lot of times that has a deal that it makes her hooks up a little higher than they really should be. I'd like to see her with a little bit more muscling coming down off her hip, but she's still, it's not taking anything away from her, but she has to be number 2 today. Thank you.
First place, Cinnamon Gudgy, Cinnamon Gudgy, Double D Arena, Outlook, Saskatchewan. Second place is Lots of Blade, and that's caught livestock from Cornack, Saskatchewan. Now we're moving into our final class, and these are cows born 2019 or earlier. We're missing the 2020, where there was nothing entered, so nothing close. Okay. So anyways, we're going to move right along to the mature cows here, folks. What's going on here? 2, 4, 6. This is, yeah. Yeah, our judge is going to take the safe route and stand on the outside, and for good reason. These cows been cooped up for a couple of days, and they're feeling their oats, you might say. So he's going to go out just outside. He can still see him fine. Might take him a little bit longer, but that's all it'll take. 6 in this class, folks. 6 mature cows. All right, folks, don't forget the trade show here at the grounds is sold out. The trade show is sold out. So there's all kinds of food and shopping and fun for everyone. So don't waste any time getting over to the trade show. Labatt's is here. All right. Budweiser is proud to support the Canadian agriculture industry and is committed to working with farmers across the country for years to come. There you go. That's Labatt's. Okay, we have a list of sponsors here. CTLA sponsors here at Agribition for 2024. All right, we could just go down, and it's Gateway Auction Services, DS Cattle Company, One Tree Ranching, Ron Walker, Cody Robbins, Alleman Ranches, Les Herman Family, Daryl Schwark, Lone Rider Longhorns, and the Hildebrandt family. Okay, we also have Ontario Texas Longhorn Association is sponsoring two different, the bull and the steer categories, and also the judge. So, yep, we got full list of supporters. Deb Lessick is also sponsoring banners at Cowtown, Saskatoon is sponsoring the buckle. So here we go, folks. Yep.
Okay. First off, I had to get out of the ring because I wasn't going to outrun them cows. I don't move like I used to. They get a little bit too close, and I don't jump like I used to roll. Start off this class, like I said, these are your mature cows. These are, I think the oldest one was in 13, maybe. Huh? Was in 14, born in 2014, was the oldest cow. So these are your older, more mature, but, they've already had a calf or two, but you start looking at them and you start trying to see how they hold together, how they staying in good condition, how their udders are holding up, and then you start placing, working out of that. My first place animal, I think, is this cow right here in the middle, 3059. I believe that's her. If you really look at her, she's got a tremendous set of horns. She's in good shape. She's got a lot of good muscle and a good tail set. She's got a good udder that's there still. All the teats are still hanging fairly level. None of her quarters are blowed out. You just really look at her. She's really just a really nice cow. Following her is number 3056. Is that the 56 right there? I think it may be this one right here in front of me. Yeah. 56 is this brindle paint cow. You look at her, she's deep through the body. She's got a good udder. All four of her quarters are still hanging pretty level. Their ag's not distended, not blowed out, so she's still got several more years of feeding calves and stuff. She's really very feminine. You look at her coming across her top line, a lot of strength. Hooks to pin is good, and her tail head is good. So really, she's really a nice cow for fitting of being second place. Third place is the 3060 cow, which is the cow that's right there in front of the stand. she's really put together good. I really like the way she has good horns, good color, and she's that old Parker Brown color, what they call it, was named after a man named Elmer Parker, which is really kind of a real different kind of black, brown, deep brown, black, but all of them are indicative of having a red line back, stripe down their back. And so she's a good cow. I'd like to see a little bit more udder hanging on her like that. It doesn't matter, you know, her udder's just a little bit tight for me, especially being the age she is. I'd like to see her with a little more. It may be because she's not bred. But today you start looking at what's in the ring with everything. Next place is 3057, which is the red cow over this one. Like I said, you look at her, she doesn't have as much horn as the rest of them, but I'd like to extend her neck out a little bit more. She's a little coarse coming up across her shoulder. You see it's got kind of a little bit of a ridge there. I don't like that raise up on coming into that. It's kind of like it's just a little bit more masculine, that's one of the traits. If she's a little bit wider between the blades up there on her shoulder, but just still a good mama cow. Got a decent udder on her and everything. Then it brings me down to the number 3055. That's this cow here in front of me. Now she is one of the oldest in the class. You start looking at her, but I mean, you see her bag is pretty well distended, and you want to try to get one that generally Longhorns are known for their milk ability for a longer period of time. I'd like to see her bag be a little bit more squared up and up, but that comes with age. It comes with, you know, just it can be just from getting older and having calves. Also, if you look at this cow, you know, we were talking about and I'm not knocking the cattle, I'm just this is kind of teaching, way her tail head comes up so far up on her back. You know, you notice you see back into where it goes in up under her tail, into her rectal area. Like I said, a lot of times you'll have issues with that because then they have to calve uphill. Also, it comes in, it's part of just with age. And the number 3058 is the cow up at the front up there, the big red cow that's looking at the door. She's a good cow. She looks nice. She's carrying a lot of weight and a lot of capacity, but her bag is pretty rough. You know, now even if she's bred and everything, you just really want that bag to be a more balanced quarter than what it is. It's kind of distended and low on the back 2 quarters, and the front 2 quarters are up, you know, are up higher. I'd like to see her that holds with her bag. So that's the way I run these. Thank you.
Okay, we have the results. Class number 7. All right, first place is Jungle Orchard, and that's a Cody Robbins cow. Second place, Lady Gimba, and that's a Double D Arena. Third place is a TLS Dazzle, and that's a Cody Robbins cow. Fourth place is Rattling Bonnie, and that's One Tree Ranching cow. Fifth place is Parting Ways, and that's a Daryl Schwartz cow. Sixth place is Red Gem, and that's a One Tree Ranching cow from Patricia, Alberta. First place of these last 3 classes will all come into the ring, and we will determine. Yep. The Australian trophy will be presented following this. Oh, right now, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, you're right. Is Beef Australia here, please? Yes, sir. Come on down. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Yeah, here's Deb's going to explain the Australia Trophy. It's got quite a history, folks. Yeah, pay attention. It's very interesting.
The Australian affiliate, they're called the Australian Texas Longhorn Association, uh, provided us with this trophy in 2014. And it's a traveling trophy for us. The winners each year get the trophy, and then the following year, Australia sends them a small keeper trophy. So again, this started in 2014, so this will be the 11th year that's been presented. We always are looking for our Australian buddies to be here, and we were lucky today to find Australian beef, and so he's going to be presenting on behalf of his country.
He does? Cody Rowe.
All right. The winner of the Australia Traveling Trophy for 2024 will be Jungle Orchard, and that's Cody Robbins from Delisle, Saskatchewan. So there you go, folks. Congratulations.
Okay, so now we still need the mature.
Okay, we're right. Oh, here we go. Here we go, folks. Last three classes. Four classes. Four. Yep. For grand champion female overall. Okay, folks, so here we go. Be six head, right? I think. Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 4, 5, 6. So from the 6th class.
Sorry? So we should have 4?
No, no. This is all the 6 classes.
53, you got that one?
Yeah, I got these three that I can see, and none of the rest of them will turn. Thirty 42, yeah.
59.
So 30 42 should not be in there. 30 59. Oh, 30 40.
Okay, we're just trying to get everything lined out here, folks. Thank you to our ground crew in the back. They're busy trying to keep everything organized and flowing, and it's a bit of an issue, but they're doing the best they can. Yeah, these are the first place finishers from the previous 6 classes. There will be an overall winner determined here. Okay, we have the results.
We have results. Okay. I'll say this about all these first place heifers and stuff that are in here. The breeders that brought these animals really brought some of their best. I mean, they're really good, solid animals. And if you start looking at, I was talking here to my steward here, we were looking, he said, how do you know how these are going to run as they get older? Well, if you start looking at this little black and white heifer here, she's 30-27. You see the way she's put together, and then you step over to that red and white heifer, that 30-36. You see a lot of the same characteristics. You just see them just a little bit more amplified, a little bit more bigger. Then you step them from there to this 30-48 right here in front of me. You start seeing them as they're getting bigger, a little fuller, a little more mature. They begin to show more. And really, so they're really a good, solid set of cattle. But it was a hard decision, and after looking, the 30, make sure I say the right number, the 30-59, the big cow, you look at her, I mean, yeah, she's got a ton of horn. You start looking at her age, she's 6, 7 years old, and you say, well, she's carrying herself good. She's got a good, solid udder up under, even though, and I imagine when she calves up, it'll fill up and it'll be pretty well balanced. Good, strong top line, tail head, tail set, deep body. I mean, she's everything that you'd want, except maybe she's a little bit out of temperament to be in here today. She's ready to go home. Then I'm going to follow her with the this 30-41. She just caught my eye when she first came in. I love the color. She's put together just right. Deep body, deer leg. She will be your reserve. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Judge. We will present the banners immediately. Can we do that? Yeah, okay. That's good. Okay, the winner is
For 30-59, Jungle Orchard.
All right, the winner is Jungle Orchard, and that's a Cody Robbins cow from Delisle, Saskatchewan there, folks. Grand champion right there. Okay. The reserve champion is L2H Like a Dove. That's 3041. L2H Like a Dove. And that's also a Cody Robbins critter. There you go. Okay, folks, we're going to move into the bull category when they get here. And I think they're on their way. The bulls. And the first class, what is class actually class number 9, I believe. And that is bulls born January 1 to June 30th of this 2024. There are 50-50 tickets here, folks, available on the grounds, and they are in support of the Agribition Community Foundation group, and that guarantees you to take home at least $25,000. That's in the 50-50 draw here on the grounds. Tuesday night, folks, Tuesday night, there is freestyle bullfighting right here at Agribition, so get your tickets early. Highlight action and adrenaline pumping event that you'll never forget. Folks, come and see. We don't have an actual time of starting, though, do we? But it's here. It's here on Tuesday night. So freestyle bullfighting.
Good before you announce, or do you need this to announce?
I got it.
You got it? All right.
Wait, don't. No, I don't.
I'll go back here.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, this is your bull, your young bull class. This is born January 1st through June the 30th of 2024. These are, you know, you start looking at your bulls and everything. You start saying, well, what do I want to look for to put on my cattle to start building my herd, or you know, upgrading or changing my herd, or whatever you at that point that you are. You start looking at, you want something that first off, you want him to look like a bull. You want him to be, you know, as well muscled up good. You want to see him with a lot of good heavy bone. You want to see them that have, for what their age is, good testicular development on them. Just really certain things you start looking, and is what I guess what my girls always said. They like looking for one that had a bully head on him, one that looked like a bull. And I thought, yeah, you know, then you start getting some of them that really, there's some that should have been steers because they're a little bit more hammer-headed or a little more longer-nosed and this, that, and the other. So I started thinking about it and looking at steers and everything else in the past. But tonight, this is a good little group of young bulls. These are all, you know, they're, what, about 8 months old, 9 months old at that age. I'm going to start the class off with this number 3063. I looked at him and I watched him walk by. He travels and stretches out good. He's got a good top line to him. I mean, he's standing kind of way he stands, but if you look at him, his legs are good and square and set up under him. If he steps out, he steps in his tracks. When he stands here, his back legs are not, you know, they stand pretty square. They're not sickled, hocked in. They just stretch out. Tail head is good. I mean, I like the way he's got a good, solid, muscular neck. I'd like to see him as he matures, because he's got just a good grasp to him. He's deep in the body. I like seeing where his precipice, you know, his sheath is up high. It's one of the old traits that you want it that way, so it doesn't get you in briars and everything else as they're traveling through the countryside. Really a nice bull, and he does have a bully head. Real square across the deal, wide pole, just really a nice bull. I'm going to follow him with this 64 bull right here. When he walked in, I really liked his color. I like the way he's flashy. He's deep body. He gives up a little more muscle than the first place bull, but he's still a good bull. I like the color to him. I'd like to see him where he got a little bit more, as he ages, he'll muscle up a little bit more up through his shoulders and through his neck, but he's still a good one. And these bulls were all pretty close in my eye to looking, you know, comparing them the same. This red and white lineback bull I put in third place. He's one of the older by a month than the others, but you look at him, he's got a lot of ground clearance on him. He's up off the ground. Good testicular development. If anything that was with him, I'd like to clean him up a little bit coming in to his sheath. He's got a little bit more sheath than the others, but it's not pendulous and that's something that would be detrimental. It's not. He's trying to sift to go between these. Number 4 is number 61, which is the tall, this black and white bull right here. Like I said, I'd like to see him be a little bit longer in his length. I mean, he's got a lot of frame to him. He's got some really tremendous bone. He stands good and correct. And but today something just didn't click with me, you know, trying to figure out how to place him. And I'm following him with the number 62 bull, the other black and white bull. He's just a little bit pendulous in his sheath. I'd like to see him be a little bit more correct on his back legs. Of course, now you can't see him when he's walking, but when he stands, he doesn't stand quite square. Like to see him change just a little bit, coming up across his shoulders, a little bit more muscle. Thank him.
Dusty, isn't it? It is dusty. Huh. I thought.
2, 5.
Okay, here we go, folks. Results of class number 9. First place is Dirty Dancer, and that belongs to Lone Rider Longhorns. Second place is
Dances for the ladies.
Gold Rush, number 3064, and that's also a Lone Rider bull. And in third place will be Idle Bullet, and that's a Cotton Livestock calf. Fourth place is Chione, Double D Arena. Fifth place will be, all right, Nico, 24. That's a Double D calf also. Sixth place is Huck Timber, and that's a One Tree Ranching calf. So there you go. That's the results. Number 10 will be next. We have 2 in this class.
Okay. Now, back earlier I was talking about you want bulls that look like a bull. We got two. They look like a bull. They have a big old masculine head on both of them, very muscled, good bone. I mean, they're just, either one of them could make either way. You know, they are. They're just really good, solid bulls. I look at them, testicular development, sheath, muscular, muscle off the hip falling off. You know, just really, they're just, I mean, either way, and it comes down to where you sit back and you look and you try to get, and then you say, well, then you start trying to, there's no way that these two bulls, I mean, really, if I had my druthers, I know what I'd do with both of them. But, you know, it gets to the deal where you sit back and you say, man, just really you start looking, and the only things that I see that would be critical on either of these, I'd like to see this bull a little bit deeper from his belly back into his flank. I'd like to see him with a little bit more thickness. This bull has that, but I'd like to see him a little bit up, a little bit more. If you scratch under his belly, he'll lift that little bit up, you know, or should. But anyway, he's got a little bit, and a lot of it may be holding his head up just a little bit. I'm not being critical. I'm just trying to see what I see. Both bulls in their own right are good, solid bulls. I'd like to change a little bit of a tail head on him. I'd like to see a little bit more muscle on him through the rump and through his belly. But tonight, you know, if you sit here and you look, I'm going to go with the 68 bull as first place. If I could give both of them, I'd make them both the same. But the 69 bull, I mean, they are just unbelievable for a 1.5-year-old bull. They're just solid animals. And I have a question I need to ask the podium.
No, you can just say these are going to be my grand and reserves tonight.
Because they are too
Okay, that's your call.
okay. Hold my clipboard.
There you go. We got results.
Okay. And because of what I see in these two bulls, I'm telling you, they're good specimens. They're probably some of the best piece of bull flesh I've looked at in a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my grand champion and my reserve. And they will be U2 champion bull and reserve champion.
There you go.
Because they're both deserving.
Congratulations.
Both deserving.
Well, he's under your name. There you go, folks. That's the results. Okay, we're going to announce the winner. All right, is number 3068, Tequila Time, and that's a double D bull. In second place, reserve grand champion is Smokin' Eddie, and that's a caught livestock bull from Cornock, Saskatchewan. There you go, folks. That's your grand and reserve champion bulls here in 2024.
Okay, well, we got a dusty bunch of steers in here. Like I said, whenever you start looking at steers, you want things, as an old friend of mine used to tell me, he said you want them to be where if they're out in your front yard, that they'll stop more cars than a dead man when they pass by. Is what you want to see. Something that catches your eye, something that just is drop dead. So I went through here looking at these steers. I had to look at them quick because they were getting a little bit rambunctious. You look at steers, you judge them. You start looking at horns to see who's got the horns. You start looking at color, and you look at conformation. Conformation to me is always as your steers start maturing, you start seeing them. They start getting, once you castrate a bull and he starts becoming a steer, all the testosterone and stuff that they had to make them a bull goes into long bone growth, and where they start shaping up into horns and heavy bone. Also, it makes their feet get what I always called looking like big syrup buckets. They go from having regular sized feet to big old heavy plodding feet, and that's just part of it as it grows because that attaches to the bone. That being said, I'm going to go with number 3070. That's this big steer. You look at him, he has a unique frosted color. He's very correct. As he started getting older, you start seeing where he sits there and he starts getting a deeper chest, and the body starts building up a big hump over his, as he crests up over his back. He's exactly what you'd want for a traffic stopping steer in your yard. Second place steer, I'm going with 3072. That's the big dark red and white splotched steer. You look at him, he's got plenty of long bone to him. He's got a lot of height already, plenty of horn, and but you see him, he just got he gives up a little bit in size to the big steer, and but he is our second place steer. Third place steer, 3073, which is the paint steer against the fence looking out. He just kind of follows. He's got a good horn. He's got a good color to him. He's just given up because he's a little bit younger and a little bit, he's just at that age. That's what happens between the oldest steer, the 70 steer, as they come back up the line. Fourth place goes to 3074, which I think is this steer. That 74 right here. Yes. And like I said, he's a good steer. He's got good bone, good. He's just behind in age by the other steers. And fifth place is this little young steer right here. He's the baby in the bunch. And, this time next year, you look at him, you go, whoa, because it'll change that much. That is my steers. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Yep. Okay, we have the results of class number 12. Okay, here we go, folks. All right, first place. Is number 3070, Busta Rhymes. And that's owned by Daryl Schwark from Carmen, Manitoba. Second place, Sordy Olson, Double D Arena from Outlook, Saskatchewan. All right, third place will be LR Lefty. That's a Lone Rider Longhorns from Athabasca. Fourth place is Poncho, and that's also a Lone Rider steer from Athabasca. Fifth place, Noble Flares. That's a DS Cattle Company from Carmen, Manitoba. They're Mr. Daryl Schwark, our arena director. So there you go, folks. There's the results of number 12. Grand champion steer is Busta Rhymes. Daryl Schwark. Reserve champion, Shorty Olson, and that's the Double D Arena. Deb Lessick from Outlook, Saskatchewan. So there you go. There. That's it.
That's the show, or they do the premier breeder, I think, but I don't know.
do the premier breeder or anything like that? Huh? Oh, okay. Andy and Tammy Olson, please. Down to the ring, to the principal's office. Classes 16 and 17 are being tallied up as we speak here right now, folks. We'll have the results coming forward here in a few minutes, I guess. We got them.